Welcome back, everybody, to the Boxscore Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan. On today's episode, we are going to discuss and catch up on some of the things in the NBA, some of the storylines we missed in the past week. We're going to talk about some, it's trade season. So we're going to talk about some rumors, some players that might be traded. And then we're going to finish up our progress reports if we have time for the Northwest. Well, really the Western Conference is where we're going to go with this. Isaac is going to do that with me. Isaac, how's it going, man?
It's going good. It's a great morning. How are you doing, Ryan?
I am excellent. I feel like a Star Wars type of day, though. I got my Star Wars shirt
Oh,
on,
okay. I see it.
my Star Wars coffee mug.
There you go.
So I don't know how that happened, but it's definitely a Star Wars type of day right now.
Absolutely. I love Star Wars. But we got our very first chatter in the stream today. And Ivan, he says, "How's it going, guys?" And we just said how we were doing. So there you go, Ivan. I hope you're doing just as good as we are.
Yeah, how you doing, Ivan? Yeah, thanks for joining us today. Okay, well, you ready to talk about some NBA stuff?
Let's do it.
Okay, so before we actually get to what we were planning on doing, we're going to just really quick talk about the breaking news, which is that the NBA decided to do a two-day draft. So the first round's going to be one day, and then the next day, it sounds like Wednesday will be the first round, and then the second round will be on Thursday night. And I just wanted to get your quick, what's your thoughts on it? Yeah.
That's weird, man. At first I thought it always was that way, but then I realized I was like, wait, yeah, it's only two rounds in the NBA, so it happens in the same night, correct? So
Correct.
that's why at first I didn't think anything of it when you first initially told me, but now it's like, yeah, why are they doing it like that? That's kind of weird. But where did you hear that, Ryan? Was that something you just heard?
No, it was on Twitter. Agent,
Oh, it was on Twitter.
it was Woj
Oh,
bombed.
Woj, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, an
yeah,
hour
yeah,
ago. Yeah,
yeah,
Woj.
yeah.
The NBA and the NBPA have now finalized plan for the two-day draft in June. That's interesting.
Yeah, because like I just don't know if there's enough support for it to be on 2 days in a row. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So that's what I'm
Like,
saying. That's weird. That doesn't make sense. Why would they do
mhm.
that?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused by it too, honestly. I just think like for me, one day was plenty for that because the second
Yeah.
round, nobody really knows who's in the second round. It's really the first 14 picks. You know what I'm saying? Like
That
that
people
people really.
matter. Right.
Right,
People
that people
care.
know enough, like the general audience knows about. So it's like
Right.
after the lottery, it kind of like usually dies down a little bit. I mean, this year Cam Whitmore, he fell to the 20th pick, so that was kind of a story. But yeah, it is kind of shocking to me, and I'm kind of curious how it's going to go.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to care about that second day now. I mean, they probably didn't already care about the second round, like you mentioned. So like nobody's
Right.
gonna watch like what's that like it was the NBA is the NBA trying to promote or like help people watch the second round or
Yeah, maybe get people. I guess it could be like they're trying to give the second round players their kind of shine. You know what I'm saying? Like
okay,
maybe it's something like that, which is super nice of the NBA to do, I think.
I
But like
guess.
it's also like though, viewership and that type of stuff, is that actually going to be there?
But
You know what
it's
I'm saying?
exactly, but because it's not going to hit the same as the number one pick in the draft, because nobody's going to care about you being the number one pick in the second round. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? So
Yeah.
it's
Very
like,
rarely. Yeah.
right. So it doesn't make sense. I don't know, but like
But
you
you
said, it could be just a nice gesture to help people get to know the people coming out of the second round.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's what I
I don't
think it
know.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I can't think of a really good reason to break up to 2 days, honestly.
Yeah, me neither. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how they what's it called? They do it and what times it's going to I imagine it'll be like 7 o'clock on both nights. But yeah,
Probably.
I'm interested to see the ratings for it as well.
I'm gonna be like the in-season tournament from
Yeah.
oh thanks, my mom just brought me a burger, guys.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Could be Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. Okay, let's you ready to get into what we were planning on talking about today?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about LeBron James. His tweet last night, after they lost a game, another game they lost. He tweeted this. It's just an hourglass, just an hourglass. But it's like subtweeting. There's a message behind the message.
Hmm.
What's your thoughts? I mean, what could he mean here? Is I guess what I'm asking.
Well, for him to tweet this at 1:26 in the morning, it means something.
Right, right.
So I'm thinking maybe it could be about the trade deadline coming up. Maybe there's going to be some moves for the Lakers to make. Maybe he's saying time's running out for Rob Pelinka to make some moves. Maybe he's talking about the Lakers in general, that they got to turn their season around before time runs out. Maybe, or maybe it's LeBron saying that time's running out for himself. Maybe he's getting gas. Maybe he feels that it's time for him to hang up the shoes. I don't think that's what it means, but I mean, it could mean
No,
all kinds of things. So
right.
with LeBron, it's always, when he tweets, a lot of people, the world pays attention. So, um,
100%.
a lot
Yeah.
of people read into a lot of people read into what LeBron
It
comments.
could, it could, yeah, it could be his time with the Lakers is coming to, like
It could
maybe
be
like
that.
he's like, hey, I don't got a long time here, and I don't have time to mess with this roster. Uh, it baffles me a little bit that every time LeBron James teams struggle, it's everybody else's fault. I have a hard time with that. Like, people are blaming Darvin Ham. This is just like, and people are blaming his teammates. And I kind of agree with some of it, but I also think that like it, he's got to take a little bit of ownership. But he also, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel. Like he's got to take a little bit of ownership. It's just not on the front office, not on the players around him as well.
But to be fair though, I feel like LeBron does take a lot of credit. All those Cavs teams,
Oh, he
even the
deserves a lot of
Miami.
credit. Absolutely. Yeah.
No,
No,
no, no.
I
I'm,
agree
I'm
with
saying
that.
I'm saying no. He deserves. I mean, he. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. I feel like he's got a lot of criticism. I should say LeBron does
Mm,
face a lot of criticism throughout his
that's true.
career.
Yep.
So to be fair with what you're saying, as far as you think LeBron blames it on everybody else but himself, I don't know about that because it's pretty much for the most of his career, LeBron has taken the blame for a lot of things. Um,
Y-
you know,
Yeah, it's not that I think that he doesn't take the blame for any of it. I just think that sometimes he like is
points the finger.
subtweeting and yeah, he like points the finger at other people sometimes. And he points it at himself too, I think, but like I don't know. I just think if it's easy to be like, well, if I was in his shoes, what I'm saying, but like if I was in his shoes, I would never bring up what I've done and what other people are not doing. I'd be more about like, hey, what am I not doing, more or less,
Right.
but like this hourglass tweet means something. It's
Right.
something about time. It's whether it's trade deadline, maybe his time with the Lakers, like you said, maybe it's time in the NBA, whatever it might be. But it kind of interesting to me. But it's funny because I have a stat for you.
Mm, I'm excited
For
to
you.
hear this.
Yeah. So it's something I saw yesterday, and I was like, oh, I gotta share this if we talk because we're going to talk about the Lakers today. And it is, do you know that the Laker leads the league in most free throw attempts? Do you know this?
Leads the league.
In most free throw attempts.
I did not know that.
Okay. Do you know how many more free throws the Lakers have shot versus the second team in the league, which I think was the Knicks, who are in second place? How much more free throws they got than the second place team?
Mm-mm.
233 more free throws than the Knicks.
More.
More.
And LeBron was crying when the Lakers went to the NBA front office that time against the Miami Heat. Was it against the Heat?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Where he was crying about that he wasn't getting
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
calls.
Not only that, but think of this. The Lakers are also dead last in the league in drives to the basket. So they don't drive to the basket a whole lot. They got 233 more free throws. Um,
That's crazy.
more than their opponents, which is
Wow.
okay. Yeah. So 233 more than his opponents. So anyway,
She.
yeah. So I don't know. Like for me, I just like that type of stuff, and then him complaining. I get his frustration maybe with the roster, but it's just like, dude, some of it you gotta grit through. We
Just
know
suck
he
it
doesn't
up.
play. Yeah, he doesn't play defense like he used to. I like the clip that you put on your Twitter,
About Tatum.
follow about Tatum, like how
Hmm.
he claps or rolls his eyes. Even Kawhi Leonard one time, he just flicked his hand
Hmm.
at a ref one time, got a tech, and then you see LeBron in a ref's face, like yelling for like 30 seconds and not one technical foul. And it's not just him. Like Luka does the same thing and stuff like that. But it's just like
Draymond
the
Green.
refs, Draymond Green. Yeah, yeah. But it's kind of crazy the way some superstars get treated differently than others.
Well, to be fair about LeBron, it is LeBron's league. Hate to say it, it
But
is. He's the face of the
but
franchise, or face of the league, I should say. So I think that he's gonna get and he's 30, 39. So that's just how refs do it, and they've done it in the NFL too with quarterbacks. Like some quarterbacks get the roughing the passer call, and it's unfortunate that that happens, but some refs just play it as how long you've been in the league for, and your status is goes with it too. So LeBron got the age on everybody's the oldest player in the NBA, plus he's LeBron James. So I think that's why he gets away with stuff that he shouldn't be getting away with. But at the same time, if you're going to treat LeBron that way, you should treat every franchise star and every team the same. I
well,
think that's
yeah.
where it gets a little kind of like, wow, you know.
Well, I agree, and I think that's so why the NBA isn't as prosperous as it could be is because people like their best star is complaining all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I don't think people want to watch people yelling all the time and complaining all the time. I just it turns me off to watching the game sometimes. I told you the story about Luca. I picked him as my favorite player, right? And then like once I saw him play basketball and him whining all the time, I was like, yeah, I can't do that. He can't be my favorite guy just because I
Right.
can't support somebody constantly whining to the officials. So,
Right.
um, it's
I
just so
Yeah, I even said Draymond does be wildin', meaning like
yeah,
Draymond does do a lot of crazy stuff.
yeah, he
And then
does.
I even said there are favorites for sure. So yeah, but no, I agree. I mean Tatum kind of turned me off a little bit too because he complains a lot.
Yeah,
But it all comes down from LeBron. LeBron's doing it, so everybody's gonna do it. I think we've talked about this in the past, Ryan, on the podcast where
right.
LeBron flops, everybody's gonna do it. So like
Correct.
everybody's copying LeBron's bad habits.
Yep.
So LeBron does have to take some type of responsibility and accountability for that. But at the same time, he is LeBron James, so it's like, it's like a catch 22 kind of, like it's kind of like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
So, but what does LeBron want his era of NBA to be remembered for? That would be my
Right?
big question to
Yeah,
him.
true. That's true.
Does he want it? Does he want it to be remembered for like the great play, the spacing, the three and kind of the research, not resurgence, but the elevation of the 3-point line, the athleticism, or does he want it to be known for the whining, the complaining, the
True.
flopping? Because
True.
that's the legacy he's going to leave behind. So he has to kind of be careful, I guess, is
Right.
is is my only point.
Yeah, I even said just play the game, bro. It's a physical sport. Stop crying, which I agree.
I agree too. I agree
But
too.
you know, it's you know, I just wish it would just be consistent. My big thing with professional sport athletes is be consistent.
I
You know,
100%.
and
Yeah, I
and
agree
and
with
it's
that.
it's with it's with the athletes, it's with refs, it's with everything. If
Yep.
you're gonna give LeBron the slack, you got to give it to everybody else. Then, I mean,
Right.
it's only fair for the rest of the people because everybody is gonna follow you. If you're the face of the league of a specific sport, most people are gonna want to emulate that.
I
So
agree. Yep.
I just wish people would just be consistent. That's the only thing
100.
that makes everything different.
Yeah, I agree with that point. Very much so. It's just you know, um, you got to be consistent. And if the best player does it, like you said, the other players will do it. But the funny thing is usually the best players who don't need the advantage, they gain that advantage. Like
Right.
the refs give them the advantage. Like, well, actually, they're the best players in the world, so why are we giving them the advantage over these other players who
Correct.
probably could use a little bit of more leash so they can complete?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true. That's a
yeah.
good point, Ryan.
Yeah,
That's
so
that's an excellent point of view right there. But another thing too, as far as like with Tatum goes, I know we're not talking about Tatum, but
right.
for Tatum, like he argues a lot after like he misses a layup or whatever. He runs at the ref. He never gets a tech then, but he gets a tech when he just claps or he just goes, just rolls his eye or he just looks away. That's the thing that I don't understand. And it's like I don't understand these refs sometimes. I don't know if you saw the it was I know we're not talking about this either, but it was about the Cleveland Cavaliers guy, the guy that played for the Heat. What's his name? Max Strus.
Yeah, Strus.
Did you see he gave the ball to the female referee, just handed it to her, he didn't throw it, and she teed him up for that.
Yeah, I wonder if he said something to her, but yeah, I agree. Well, I didn't hear anything. I saw it too, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. Even if he said something, like it was like when we went to the Miami game too, there when the Miami Heat versus the Lakers, and we went to that game in Miami, there was a lot of bad technical calls, and I don't, yeah, it's just.
Is this era just getting
get it.
soft?
I don't get it. It's a little soft. Yeah, it's a little soft. I don't want to say it's real soft because I think we kind of exaggerate a little bit, but I do agree it's getting a little bit soft. But yeah,
but at the same time too, it's like we don't want to see complaining. But when somebody blatantly follows you, you're gonna get it. It's an emotional sport.
It is emotional sport.
We are all humans. We're all gonna feel some type of way. If somebody hits you really hard or smacks you in the face or punches you in the face, you're gonna want to call.
Right.
So I guess it's like when to complain to the ref, right?
Right, like the second. Right. Well, and if it's the second or third time down court, or like it's during a timeout after the foul wasn't called, like you don't need to be complaining then. That's my thing. It's like it's like if you're playing basketball with friends and you get fouled, and like it's like you complain about it at first, but the next time down court, let's just stop, because it just doesn't matter at that point. Like we're moving forward. So that's the way I kind of look at it. And if they are still complaining to the ref, third time down court, call the tech. That's what I would do. Like, okay, now we're talking about this way too much. Okay, I can't fix it. What do you want me to do? You're just whining at this point. But yeah, but with this, it goes back to this LeBron James thing. It's interesting because like I don't know what the time hourglass is. I don't know what it means, but I'm kind of interested to see where the Lakers go. Okay, if you had to predict one thing, is there anything the Lakers do in response to this? Do you think they fire Ham? Do you think is this like a trade deadline thing? What do you think it is?
I think it's me personally, I think it's like they're running out of time for the Lakers. Like they gotta get on the right track to get in the play-in, be a contending for a title. I think LeBron, that's all LeBron cares about. He doesn't care about winning the division. He doesn't care about what seed he's in. He's caring about getting to the NBA Finals and winning a title. I think that's what it means. His time's running out to closing on the ghost of Michael Jordan. That's what I honestly, personally believe that's what that means. But again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's a good, good insight. Like that's what I think it could mean. I also think it also could mean just, hey, trade deadline's coming up. Right. That's a two thing.
It could be that too.
Yeah. You want to catch up on Ivan's chats?
Yeah, Ivan said one and done in my opinion, bro. One and done for who? And then he said, as a ref, they gotta watch the game. They don't got time to be arguing with the player of a call or no call.
Yeah. Right, because then they miss more calls.
Right.
I don't know. And like if you were a ref and somebody's constantly whining at you, do you even want to call fouls for him? Like I would on purposely not call fouls for somebody who constantly whines. I don't know.
Oh, for attack he meant for the one and done.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So he thinks one tech and they should be out of the game.
Is that what you mean?
because I like
It could be
that. That's
that.
almost yeah.
That's probably what he
I
means.
think yeah. I think tech should be reviewable by the NBA in the moment. You know, I'm saying like so if a tech happens, the NBA can like look at it and be like, okay, we're gonna take that tech away because that was a little too because we also don't want the refs controlling the game to the point where they're calling techs and kicking these players out. You know, but I think Ivan's right in the sense that I think people would be very, very careful about arguing if it was only one tech.
Right. No, he said like no one like one talk, and then the conversation is over.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, one conversation, and if you bring it up again, we're teching you up. Yeah, that's what I think he means then. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I like it. I like that, Ivan. I'm with you on that. Okay, let's go to our next topic. We're going to talk about another 70-point game. Luka put up 73 points on the board on the same night that Booker puts up, I think it was 62. I should have double checked that. I'm pretty sure it was 62. And it kind of was so last 2 weeks ago we had Embiid put up 70 and Cat put up I think 63, which is kind of hilarious. I put this up there. First of all, what's your thoughts on this, man?
I just wanted to catch up on the comment. He said, "Yeah, my bad, man. Kind of early. I worked there." No, Ivan, you're good, bro.
Yeah, you're good.
We're just trying to actually understand what you're coming at. But
Correct.
back to your point, Ryan. Luka drops 73. What's crazy is when we went to go play ball that day. Was it that day?
Yeah.
Or was it the day before?
We played Friday.
So I said it Thursday because we did a Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Oh my goodness, bro! I'm really scared of when I speak, bro, because like everything I say comes true. So I'm like, when we were talking about, I think Embiid's 70-pointer, I was like, and then I think Avery did a comment on the pod, and he was like, "There's only 9 people that have done that."
Right. Avery
And then,
added
like,
that. Yep.
we were just like, going over like all the players, counting all the players and stuff. And I'm like, did Luka do that? And you were like, no, Luka hasn't done 70 points. I'm like, wow, you would think Luka would do that at some point in his career.
Correct.
And it happens the next night, bro, and did more than Embiid. He put up more. I think he broke Damian Lillard 70, Devin Booker 70, Embiid 70. So like, and Donovan Mitchell dropped 70, didn't he?
Mitchell did. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So Luka, like, outside of Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Got the second most points in this generation.
Yeah.
That's wild, bro.
I know.
That's wild.
It was hilarious because you did bring that up and be like, "Oh yeah, Luka should do that." And then we both, well, you said it and I agreed that Luka will eventually do it, right? Like we both said that. Like
exactly.
So it was hilarious that happened that same week. Well, the next day actually. So yeah, it was hilarious.
Crazy,
yeah.
That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But it brings up a bigger question. Do you think somebody gets to 100 then?
I believe so.
Yeah, it keeps getting like people are not consistently, but we're seeing 70 points more and more now.
Yeah.
So it's like I think we're gonna get there. I think
in this era of basketball, right? The 3-pointer matters. So I think absolutely we're gonna see somebody break the record eventually. But what I will say is, and I think we've talked about this on the pod before last week, where I was like, maybe is there like a low-key NBA player professional rule that nobody goes over 81 or wants to tie 81 just for respect of Kobe? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe all these NBA players could easily drop 100 because we've seen like LaMelo Ball dropped 100 in high school. I mean, we all know it's high school, but like these players are possible, are capable of doing it. But maybe it's just like a low key rule. It's kind of like in basketball, like you don't like if you're already winning and there's like 2 seconds left or 3 seconds left, you just dribble the ball out, right? I mean, there's no rule for that, but it's like a players only rule, right? Where it's like, okay, that's disrespectful if you just go and just try to run up the score knowing you're already up by
unless
like 40.
if it's an in-season tournament, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
You might be right. It could be a rule, but I don't know why they would make it because like, there are other players that have passed away that people were breaking their record. Now, obviously, Kobe's a little bit more fresher. His way was probably more tragic than most, if not all. But
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see. And go ahead.
Ivan said it's very possible to make it to 100 and that records are meant to be broken.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think it matters who. Like if it's you know, like you mentioned before, like if it's Cat that breaks Kobe's record, that might be a little bit more like yeah, I wouldn't say disrespectful. I'd be like maybe disrespectful, but I'd be like more of a letdown, like, oh, that's the guy who did it versus someone like
sad.
Tatum. Yeah, right.
So sad.
But when we were looking up the 70 points, who was it? There was a Thompson guy that broke 70. It's like, oh, who's that guy? So it could end up being a guy that like a no name that breaks the 81, which would be not a no name, but you know what I mean, like somebody who we know, but like you're like, I can't believe it was that guy who broke 70.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, anything else on these guys scoring? Obviously, we didn't really touch on Booker, but
Booker's already dropped 70, so
yeah.
I
just put it in there because I just thought it was cool. It was the same night. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, Booker's and this is why I know you guys don't like Booker, but I personally like him. I think he's a good player. I like his game.
I think he's a good basketball player. I just his whining goes, his personality goes to another extreme to me sometimes, like complaining about a mascot trying to distract you from free throws and being double teamed in practice. It's like, dude, you got to get used to that stuff. Come on.
Right.
It's like, what are we doing?
Man. You're making millions.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's go to our next topic. How about that? We'll talk about the Miami Heat. I just thought this was interesting. They're on a 7-game losing streak. Did you know this?
Didn't know they were on a 7-game losing streak, but I did know they weren't doing so well.
Yeah. So this is even after the Rozier trade, which both you and I like the trade. So here are the teams that they lost to. They lost to Toronto, Atlanta, Orlando. They lost to Memphis, Boston, Knicks, Suns. So we both I had them as a play-in team, but like a contender. I think you had them in the playoffs. How are you feeling right now about the Heat moving forward with their 7-game losing streak that they're in right now? Because Butler played all those games.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early. They're the 7th seed. They're 24. They're above 500.
Yeah.
They're 500 on the road. They're 12-11 at home. They're 9-2 in their division, and they're 18-15 in the conference. But it's some of those games are concerning. I mean, losing to the Grizzlies without John Morant, that's kind of that's kind of crazy. I'm losing to the Hawks, obviously, the Raptors by that much. I mean, the Celtics loss doesn't surprise me. And the Knicks loss doesn't, or the Suns. I mean, those are 3 good teams that are playoff, contenders. I mean, their last win was against the Nets on the 15th in overtime. Going based on like how you said Jimmy Butler's been playing, Jimmy Butler's been doing pretty decent.
Yep.
I still think it's going to be the same way as they played last year. They were a play-in team, and they'll turn it around. They'll turn it on when it comes to playoff time when it matters the most. I don't feel like it should be an overreaction or like worrisome if you're a Heat fan to be like, oh my goodness, the season's over because we're losing 7 straight or we're losing to terrible teams that we should be. I don't think that matters, and I don't think the Heat care really too much about how they're losing right now. Now, if this was like heading into April or after the All-Star break, you'd be kind of concerned because you're gonna have to win those games to stay in at least to play in.
Right.
So you got to still win. But I feel as though it's not like, I don't think the Heat care where they are as long as they make it. They could be the 10th seed heading into the play-in, and I think they'll be fine.
I agree with you. I just had a sneeze. Sorry, guys. So anyway, Agreed with you. I agree with you. I'm not worried about it, but I thought it was an interesting conversation because both of us had them as contenders. So it's like, are we worried about them not being contenders? I just think they're built for the playoffs, and they'll get to the playoffs, and that's when they'll show up. And I think Jaquez has been kind of injured. I don't remember. I thought I heard he hasn't been in the lineup the entire time,
Mm,
which I think is huge for the Heat. I also think there's a trade still in there somewhere. So.
yeah,
Um, I don't think this is the team that they'll be
come playoff time.
come playoff time, right?
Correct.
But even if this was the team, I still think you got to be worried about them anyway. So
Right. Yeah, you do. They're a sneaky team.
I agree with that. Sneaky team. You don't want to mess with the Heat. If
Is
you're
Tyler Hero hurt or
Hero could be he's only played 28 games.
yeah?
Maybe it was him that was hurt.
I
Yeah.
mean, he's had a
And
decent season. I mean, 21 and a half points per game, four assists, 5 rebounds. He's averaging a steal. He's playing good, and
okay.
Jimmy Butler's pretty much the same stats.
Yeah. So it looks like Jaquez, I just want to be correct about this here. He played the last two against the Sun and Knicks, but it looks like he had a 2 week he was out for 2 weeks between the Hornet game and the Knick game. So he didn't play any of those games. So he missed like 6 games or something like that. 5 games. So
Gotcha.
he's injured too. So yeah, I guess but neither one of us are worried about the Heat, right? Correct?
No, I'm not worried about them.
Oh,
As far as
yeah,
like them, you know, together, you know what I'm saying? Like I
yeah,
don't think
right.
they're even worried. But other fans like us, like the Celtic fans, Bucks fans, people who are trying to win a title, yeah, you got to be worried about the Heat.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, you ready? You want to catch up on the? Looks like there might be only one comment.
Yeah, Thorpe, he said Heat over the Celtics.
What's up, Thorpe? It's
And
possible.
Thorpe, this is why I'm gonna ban you for 30 seconds.
Yep, I agree. I think he's coming on just to troll us. The last couple of podcast, I think he's still mad. Is he still mad about the whole Dallas Cowboys losing?
I think he
He,
is.
yeah, he hates sports at this point.
He said no. Well, I'm going to Thorpe because that was not nice.
Yeah, that was inappropriate behavior. We're gonna act like the NBA refs. We're gonna be very sensitive to you right now.
All right, Thorpe, I'm doing it right now.
Boom.
Slash, slash,
He's like,
banned.
I just jumped in here.
Slash, banned. No, just playing.
Just
He
kidding.
said Ivan said blasphemous.
Yeah,
He said
that's
don't do
cool.
it.
Don't do it. Okay, you ready to talk about our next topic? Some trades
Yeah.
season. Okay, so it's kind of slow. I was kind of hoping a trade would happen before our podcast. But we're gonna talk about I found 5 trades that I thought I'd throw at you and get your thoughts on. And maybe we could kind of talk about a couple players if we want, but just focus maybe on the players being traded. We could say maybe if we don't like the spot, we could throw another spot out there. But let's start with this one. This is from ESPN, by the way, so I didn't make these trades up. This is just some suggestions. One trade was the Hornets getting Zach LaVine and the Bulls receiving Hayward, 2 second-round picks, and Nick Richards. Thoughts on that trade?
Um, not not a big deal. I mean, the Hornets and the Bulls aren't that good, so it's like
Yeah.
I don't think that helps the Wizards, or I mean the Hornets, and I don't think that helps the Bulls either. Gordon
Right.
Hayward's
I think
old.
yeah, I think this is an interesting one because it would be fun to get LaMelo, a running mate like that can score the ball, but it would have zero impact on the season. And I kind of wish Levine would go somewhere else, right? Right, just for the
Well, that'd be
excitement.
bad
If
for
he's
Levine too.
yeah, yeah.
I know Levine can't choose where he wants to go, but I was also hearing Ryan too about the Pistons trying to get Levine and trading maybe Cade That'd be a terrible trade. Oh my
Dude,
God.
you sent me that. I'm like, all reports are, by the way, just so you know, Cade, Ivy, Thompson, and Duran are untouchable. So at least I think after you sent me that, I got some reassurance that Cade is not on a trading block. So that's
Good.
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 Yeah.
Lakers could use Levine, Thorpe said.
100% Thorpe. 100%. Are you a Lakers fan, Thorpe?
Yeah, Thorpe's a LeBron fan.
Oh, sad.
Yeah.
Cowboy fan and a LeBron's fan. Man, you're going down the list of individuals that
Bandwagon.
yeah. Yeah,
Hell,
bandwagon, okay.
Thorpe's not even from Dallas.
Oh, he's not.
No.
No. No.
He's in North Carolina. He should be a Hornets fan. He should be a Carolina Panthers fan. And he should be what else? What other teams are in Carolina? I don't really know.
North Carolina, the college.
Yeah.
College, he could be a college fan.
Oh
But
yeah.
he could like I maybe the Hornets I get, but well, no, because Chris Paul was a Hornet for a little bit. They had some good years.
Yeah. The
What are you
Hornets
doing,
have
Thorpe?
had. Yeah.
What are you doing, Thorpe?
He said, but I will be honest, I'm in no way, shape, or form fit to speak in any way about basketball. Which is crazy because Thorpe loves 2K and he plays, that's the only video game I really see him play. Which is sad. I wish Thorpe had more basketball knowledge. Because it'd be fun to
Yeah,
talk sports with Thorpe. But that's why Thorpe's opinions don't
that's
make it.
why when he says Heat over
Yeah.
Boston, you laugh it off. You don't ban him. You
No,
just
I
laugh it
ban
off.
him. I mean,
Okay.
I think it'll help him want to learn more about the game. Then it'll
That's fair.
force him
That's
to
fair.
have a better knowledge of the game.
That's fair. That's fair.
He
Good
said,
point, Isaac.
he said, and I definitely don't watch college, and I can be a fan of anybody I want. I'm grown, I think.
That's great, Thor.
Oh
That's great.
man,
That's great.
Thorpe, love you, Thorpe. It's always good to have you on here, man.
Yeah. So second trade, the Sixers would receive Malcolm Brogdon, and the Blazers would get Morris Springs and 2 second-round picks from the which are owned by the Sixers. So 2 second-round picks.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on maybe Brogdon going
Mm,
to the Sixers?
mm, that'd be a good trade.
I think so.
Um, I know Portland's in rebuild mode, so they're gonna try and get any draft picks that they can get. So
Hmm.
I think it's a good trade for both. If you're
Yeah.
the Sixers, you go after Brogdon, former six man of the year.
Yep.
Brogdon playing you're gonna probably need a Brogdon on your team going up against like a team like the Bucks or the Celtics, and and it'd be good for Brog too. He's on a team that's in rebuild mode. He deserves to be in a championship contending team. And be good for Brogdon. It'd be good for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I think like a Maxi Brogdon backcourt would be kind
Mm.
of fun to
Mm-hmm.
watch. That would be good. I think just that I don't know. I think it's kind of what the Sixers could use, but I also think they could be another team that could use Levine if he wasn't the price isn't too high. Like they would be really fun with Levine, I think.
I think Brogdon would fit good in Nick Nurse's
I agree.
system.
100%. Yep, I agree.
Levine, like you said, Levine's not really a defensive player. You're going to need
That's a
defense
point. Yeah,
in the playoffs.
that's a
So
good point.
Brogdon's played with the Celtics. Sixers and Celtics ever match up? I mean, you never know, man. I mean, that's the reason why the Celtics went and grabbed Drew Holiday, right? It was in case we play the Bucks. I mean, it's all about who you want insight. You want insight
Yep.
on how they run their system, how they run. You want those types of guys that have been in other systems. So he's been
Yep.
under the Joe Mazzulla system. He's known how Tatum and Brown play. I mean, he has like that little insight. So any little bit counts. Any little edge that you can get on a team, you'd want that.
And Brogdon's a better defender, so him and Maxey would be a little better
Mm-hmm.
than him and Levine. So you're
Levine,
right about
correct,
that. Yeah, yeah.
correct.
Okay, here's another one. Pistons. They trade for Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins and Corey Joseph for the Pistons giving up Alex Burks and Monte Morris.
Wait, they traded for Wiggins' trade, or these are just rumors?
This is rumors.
Oh, gotcha. I was
It's
like, they
like
traded Wiggins.
this is like fake trades that ESPN suggested.
You said Wiggins and who?
Corey Joseph for Alec Burks and Monte Morris.
Thank you, Thorpe, for the 100 bits. Love it. Um, I don't know. I don't think that helps the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I don't think I like that trade for Golden
Me
State.
either. I
I
don't
don't
like it
like
for the
that.
Pistons. Like, why would the Pistons want Andrew Wiggins?
Yeah,
I don't agree with that either. I'm with
no,
you.
I don't
Bad
like that.
trade,
Yeah, it's a bad
ESPN.
trade. That's a
Like
bad
the
trade.
Pistons should want picks or young players, not Andrew Wiggins and Corey Joseph. So I
Right.
don't know about that.
Well,
Yeah.
the Warriors are trying to turn their season around, right? So like,
Correct. Yeah.
why would that? How would that help them
Well,
moving
Burks is a better
forward?
player, playing better right now than Wiggins, and Monte
Yeah,
Morris is
but
a good backup guard, but it's not good enough to get them over the
mm-mm,
hump. I'm with you on that. Yeah,
right. Yeah, no.
yeah. Um, okay, here's another trade. They suggest the Nets trade for Russell, so D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, and a first round pick for the Lakers to receive Finney Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie.
Mm, I kind of like that.
I like it.
I
I do
like it.
too.
I like it. But I don't know if that gets them over the hump either. I don't think that gets them into title contention because that's all LeBron cares about, right? So
Right.
I don't think that helps them. But it could get them into like what they were last year, the 7th seed or like the 6th
Right.
seed, like they could get them there. Um, but yeah, I like it, but I like Rui. I like Hachimura.
Yeah, I like Finney Smith over Rui though, and Dinwiddie is a
Yeah,
bigger
true.
guard.
True.
Um, so that could help them. I guess my only like when you say like that trade wouldn't get the Lakers over the hump, which I agree with. Is there a trade out there for the Lakers to get over the hump? Like to compete with these other teams? I don't know. Like Murray, DeJounte Murray is rumored to be a target of theirs, and
Yeah, I'd
Levine.
get rid of D'Lo and go grab DeJounte
Yeah.
and go get Zach if I'm the Lakers, and then just go get
Mm.
and then trade Hachimura and go grab Finney Smith and um
You're saying like do both those trades?
absolutely. Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Yeah.
possible. I don't know about like the cap and salary and all that. I don't know about all that, but if you could do it, I'd do that.
Yeah. I think they could with the cap get um both those like a Murray,
Hmm.
get DeJounte Murray with Finney Smith and Dinwiddie or Levine with
I know
Finney
D'Lo's
Smith and
been
Dinwiddie,
playing
but
good recently, but I don't think D'Lo is. I think he needs to go.
I like him on the Nets. The Nets need a guard.
And D'Lo was on the
But
Nets, remember? And D'Lo played really.
yeah,
I thought that
back
was
in the
like,
day, yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
thought like D'Lo was like really good when he was with Brooklyn. And Brooklyn
Yeah,
traded all that away to get Kyrie and KD. Blew that whole team
correct.
up. That Nets team was dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know if like this type of trade where you just get Finney Smith and Dinwiddie would get the Lakers where they want to go. But it's a start. It could be the start to the right direction. The problem with Russell is I don't know if he plays well with LeBron. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like he needs the ball.
Hmm.
But he also is like when he's going, he's going. You know what I'm saying? Like when he's hitting his shot, it's going in. It's crazy. So I don't know.
Correct.
Um, okay, last one that I have here from ESPN that they suggest is Tyus Jones
For who? For the
and
Lakers?
no, for the Heat.
Oh, for the Heat.
For the
Okay.
Heat. And they would trade Duncan Robinson and a top 10 protected first round pick. Now they just recently traded this. I think this was up before they traded for Terry Rozier, but Tyus Jones and Terry Rozier could play together because they're kind of different builds, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So
Thorpe just subscribed to Boxscore Sports.
let's go. Thanks for your subscriptions, Thorpe.
Let's go.
Yeah. And if you chat on YouTube, I promise I won't ban you. But I still be mad. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So what do you think of that trade? Tyus Jones,
For Duncan, nah,
Robin. Yeah, I don't like it
I don't like
either.
that. I don't like it
Yeah.
at all. Duncan's a good player. He knows the Heat system. I think he's a good knockdown shooter. You
Okay.
know, and I think Duncan's proved himself in the playoffs for the Heat numerous times that he can be a clutch shooter when they need him the
Gotcha.
most. I don't think you do that. Not for Tyus Jones.
Hmm.
If it's and I'm not saying Duncan Robinson is worth like a first round pick or like a star player like a Zach LaVine or like a DeMar DeRozan. You know what I'm saying? But Tyus Jones, I just don't think that fits. Like you're
Hmm.
getting rid of a tall shooter for a small point guard.
Right.
Like that
Yeah,
doesn't
I'm
make
with
you better.
right. I agree. I don't think, especially after they got Terry Rozier, I just don't think they need Tyus Jones anymore. Is there a player that
Sure.
you think, um, you know, what's it called there, that they could go after the Heat that you would be like Zach LaVine or DeJounte Murray. The one player they're playing good right now, so I don't think it's going to happen. I thought maybe Donovan Mitchell, but I just don't think that's going to happen now.
No.
But is there a player that you could think that you'd like to see other than Tyus Jones?
To go to the Heat?
Yeah.
Yeah, if they could grab DeMar.
Oh yeah, good one. Yeah, I
I
like
think
that
I
one.
think DeMar DeRozan fits perfectly with that team. So um, DeMar DeRozan for sure. I think he just fits. He's a good midi shooter. And he got defense. Just he's a similar. It's like that's like two Jimmy Butlers right there. And I'm not saying DeMar DeRozan or Jimmy Butler's better than DeMar DeRozan. I think they're kind of similar to an extent as far as their game goes.
Sure.
So and I feel like it'd be good for DeMar too because DeMar's been on like for the Raptors. He's been on good Raptor teams. He was on the Spurs, but like that didn't really go nowhere. So I think it'd be good for DeMar too. It sucks that it didn't work out for him in Chicago. With all the injuries and stuff because I felt like the Bulls could have really been a great team.
Yeah.
Zach, DeMar, Lonzo, like they were nasty. So it'd just be good for DeMar to be on a title contending Heat team, and it's crazy to say title contending, but I mean the Heat are always in the mix when it comes down to when it matters the most. So I think DeMar could elevate the Heat even higher than what they're at right now.
I would agree. I like that suggestion. DeMar would be great.
Yeah.
So Thorpe says Twitch was kind of laggy.
Okay.
Um, DeMar and LeBron. So he's suggesting that the Heat go after both DeMar DeRozan and LeBron James. I don't think if they have enough assets to get LeBron, they would probably have to trade Butler or Bam, and I know they don't want to do that. It's time to leave LA. It could be time to leave LA for LeBron.
Yes, it
Um,
could.
okay, before we go off this topic, you obviously you're a Celtic
Yep.
fan. Is there someone or something you'd like to see them get, like a player or a position?
Yeah, I was hearing some rumors on Celtics Twitter about them possibly trading to get Gordon Hayward, maybe get rid of Pritchard
Mm,
and maybe Luke Cornett or Sam Hauser to get Hayward to get on the bench. I think that'd be a good, you know, I think that'd be great. I think go get Hayward, you
yeah.
know. But I don't know how that would all work as far as salary cap goes. I'm not that advanced into all that stuff. Like I don't get into all like the money aspect of the business, but if there's a way Brad Stevens could go get Gordon Hayward, that'd be great. I think that would help our bench and our depth a little bit.
Yeah, I like that move too. Bring it back. Bring it back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, yeah, that would be good. For the Pistons, I would just trade every veteran you can and get as much picks as you can. So that's all I would do. So
Right.
get young players and picks at this point.
I'm kind of sad
Uh,
Blake Griffin didn't want to run it back with us. Like I felt like even though Blake didn't get a lot of playing time last year, I felt like Blake was a good veteran leader,
sure.
and I feel like the Celtics might need that heading into the playoffs. With Marcus Smart not being there, you're going to have some type of veteran in that locker room. Kind of like how Udonis Haslem was for the Heat.
Sure. Yeah,
So I
yeah.
feel like, the Celtics should go after that, if they can. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a player that's going to like give you 30 points a game, too. I think we have enough of that with Porzingis, Brown, and Tatum, and Derek White can do it from time to time. So you don't have to worry about like adding another scorer, but maybe just a locker room
Sure.
presence. Because I don't think the Celtics have that right now, and that's the only thing I'm kind of like worried about.
Sure.
But yeah, something like that maybe go after.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. Yeah, we'll see what they do. I'm pretty sure if they don't make a trade line move, they'll probably be in the buyout market. So they'll probably do something.
Mhm.
And we'll just have to wait and see. I like the Hayward move though.
Yeah,
If they could somehow get Hayward, that'd be kind of fun.
it would be.
Okay, let's move on to our progress report. So if you haven't seen or listened to the podcast that we've done in the last 2 weeks, we have progress reports on each and every division of every single team. We just kind of give them a grade. That's what we do. We give them a grade. And we are going to do that with the Western Conference today by division. And we will, and if you're in the chat, give us your grade on the team too. If
Absolutely.
Ivan and Thorpe are in the chat still, go ahead and give us your grades on each team as well. Now, how I have been doing it, I've been doing it by what I expected from them to where they are right now.
Okay.
And I think you've been kind of doing something similar, Isaac, and sort of how they're doing now too, correct?
Yeah, I go based off of the numbers. I know you always say numbers lie, but
Sometimes they lie, but yes, yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
fair.
like I go based off of percentage, how the players are doing as well, and how they're doing in their division. Because if we're doing a progress report division wise, that's what I go to. I want to see how well you're doing in your own division as well, and in the conference. So I go based off of that too.
Gotcha. Okay, so now that you know how we kind of do it, let's start with the Timberwolves. Isaac, they are right now the first seed in the Western Conference. They're 33 and 14. They've
Mhm.
won 7 out of the last 10 games. What are your thoughts? What's your grade for the Timberwolves this season?
I'm giving them an A. An A,
Okay.
an A, an A, because I didn't think the Timberwolves, first of all, to start the year, would be the number one seed. So that right there is I think an overachievement thing that they've already done.
Right.
They're already overachieving. They're 17 and 4 at home. They've beaten the Celtics. They gave the Celtics a good run for their money in the Garden as well, taking us to that double overtime. Anthony Edwards is going to be a star in this league. I think he already is. He's transcending to be that. And they're 6 and 2 in their division, and they're 22 and 8 in the West. That alone is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, then like you said, they're 7 and 3 in their last 10. So yeah, they're balling, man. They've been doing really good
Yeah, I would have never predicted them being the best team
in the
in the Western
West. No,
Conference.
me
Yeah, so
neither.
I'm with you. I'm going to give them an A. They're also the right now in the league, the best defense in the league. I think they're number one. At least they allow the least amount of points. I think that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Um, like you said, Edwards. I feel like Cat and what's his name, Gobert have found a way that they can play with each other
Yeah.
on the court at the same time. And Cat has, I feel like found his role on this team and has
Hmm.
matured a little bit. So I'm with you. I'm going to give them an A as well.
Yeah. Thorpe said
Thorpe,
C for the Wolves, B plus for the Nuggets, F for the Thunder, A for the Jazz, and F for the Blazers.
oh boy, Thorpe's a rough teacher, I think.
I think I think Thorpe just needs to watch the games.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, Thorpe.
Thorpe, you could have the games on while you play 2K.
Yeah,
Like,
I try to tell him that, and he's like, no.
yeah,
He's like, he doesn't watch. He doesn't want to watch the games. I always
that's
tell
fair.
Thorpe, I'm like, why don't you get the 100 the 100 something dollar one that because Thorpe always gets like the
Back to my
basic one.
previous comment. Sure, yeah,
And
yeah.
Thorpe's like, oh, Ivan gave the Wolves an F.
Ivan, are you giving the Wolves an F?
Oh my goodness. What is going on, guys?
Ivan, do you watch the games? I
Oh
gotta
no,
ask.
he said just kidding, he don't.
Okay, 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 okay.
I was about to be scared. I was like, oh
Yeah.
no. But yeah, I was talking to Thor when we were playing 2K one day. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna watch those games. I'm not gonna buy that because I'm not gonna watch it." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Why? Why don't you want to watch the game?" He does after the Cowboys too. Like the Cowboys game will be on. I'll be watching the Cowboys game, and Thorpe's like, "Hey, you want to play 2K?" I'm like, "Bro, the Cowboys are playing." Nope, he doesn't watch the
no.
games.
Oh, Thorpe. Thorpe,
Thorpe,
my man. Yeah.
Thorpe.
But he does say I refer back to my previous comment. So he knows, he knows, he
Yeah,
knows.
I play
Yeah.
2K, but don't watch basketball that much. Ivan said.
Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. Just, give us your thoughts. I do watch the Cowboy games, he says, and that's why he's depressed all the time. Because he watches them be so good until the playoff comes. I don't watch basketball like that. Yeah.
He doesn't watch the
That's
Cowboys
okay.
games.
Okay, let's talk about the Nuggets. Nuggets, defending champions, they're number 2 in the Western Conference,
Yep.
33-15. They're 7 of the last 3 as well. What's your grade for the Nuggets this year?
I'll give him an A.
Mm-hmm.
An A as well. The Nuggets are, the defending champs. Even though they're a half game behind the Timberwolves, but if the Timberwolves weren't playing as good as they were, the Denver Nuggets would be right where we all thought they would be, top of the
Yeah.
Western Conference. So it's not like, oh, they're the second seed. No, the Nuggets are still a force to be reckoned with. Jokic is still a force to be reckoned with, and they're 19-4 at home as well. And they're 2-4 in the division, which kind of concerns me, but not really based on their overall record. So, and they're 7-3 in their last 10. So, that all plays into a factor too. And I saw that Nuggets Celtics game. I saw the highlights of it, and man, Jokic is just special, man.
He is.
He's just a special player. I love watching his game, and I just want to appreciate it being a basketball fan. Even though I'm a Celtics fan, but as a basketball fan, I love seeing great players play great.
I agree with you. And that's why I also have them as an A. And I'm also kind of giving them a little bit of a break, because they are the defending champs. So obviously their bench hasn't been as good as it was last year, but when you get to the playoffs, you usually have like 8 people play 8 to 9, so you're not going to rely on the bench that much. So I'm with you. I give them an A as well. You want to catch up on the comments?
Yeah, Thorpe said that's why I was so upset at the playoffs because he watched that Packers Cowboys game. And then Ivan said, but it's interesting getting your guys' perspective on the game, that he likes getting our perspective because he doesn't probably watch a lot of basketball, like he said. So I think me and you, Ryan, are helping guys like Thorpe and Ivan get a little bit more knowledge of what's going around in the NBA. And that's why we do these podcasts, man, for guys like you guys, man.
Yeah.
To help you guys out.
Yeah.
That's good.
Agreed. And yeah, thanks for joining us despite not watching the NBA that much.
I know. That's true too.
Thunder. Let's give a grade for the Thunder. So the Thunder, it's funny because they are 3rd in the West. So this division, the Northwest Division, have the number 1, 2, and 3 seed in the Western Conference. They are 32-15. They are 6 of their last 10, 2-game losing streak right now. What's your grade for the Thunder this year?
Give them an A as well, Ryan.
Yeah, I know.
They all got A's.
I know.
They all got A's, and what's crazy is I might have to change it from an A to an A+ for the Thunder, just because they're 9-3 in this division, Ryan. So change my A to an A+.
First A+ of the day right here.
They got the best record in this tough division, and I know Portland and Utah, aren't as deadly, but just for these first 3 teams, I'm trying to go back and trying to see what's their record against the Timberwolves. So they lost, or they played tonight actually against the Nuggets. So that's gonna be
that's gonna be a good game.
Last game on Monday, they lost to the Timberwolves, but then they beat the Timberwolves, I believe, last week, 102-97. So they're 1-1 so far against the Timberwolves. I'm trying to go back to see what their actual season record is against these two specific teams. So they did lose to the Nuggets already once. And they check right here. Okay, so this was in the play-in tournament. So they lost to the Timberwolves in the play-in. And I mean the in-season tournament, my bad.
Right. Gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're doing very well, and they did beat the Nuggets by 1 on the 16th of December. So they're 1-1 with the Timberwolves, they're 2-1. They beat the Timberwolves again, Ryan, on the 26th. So they're 2-1 against the Timberwolves, and they're 1-1 with the Nuggets. So that's decent, man. I got to give them an A+ for that. That's pretty impressive.
Okay.
The Thunder are beating caliber NBA title caliber teams. And they beat the Celtics. They beat the Celtics too. I forgot about that too.
Yeah, and they're doing so good, and their team is well built, well rounded. I think they do need another big, so that Chet can sometimes play the 4 when you're playing like the bigger bigs, because he's still like 100 pounds soaking wet. So
yeah, but I don't think that's affecting him that much. He's been balling.
No.
He got like that
he's so good,
too, Ryan.
Yeah, he does. And that's what's so fascinating about this team. I'm not going to copy you. I could go A+ here too, but I don't want to be a copycat. Sure. I just think what I thought of them going into the season, I think I had them as a play-in team, that this would be the year they get into the playoffs, but they're doing way better than that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm with you. I'm giving them an A. Utah Jazz. What do you got? So the Jazz are, let's see here. They are 24-25. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They are on the border of a play-in team. Right now they're 10th in the West. What's your grade for the Utah Jazz?
I'd give them a C-.
B-?
A C.
A C-?
Yeah.
Okay, C-.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't watched a lot of Utah Jazz games. But their division, they're 4-6, they're 9-19 on the road. And they're 12-18 in the conference. So, I didn't really expect too much of the Utah Jazz anyways, based on them getting rid of, Donovan Mitchell and, Rudy Gobert last year. So, I think the Utah Jazz are in rebuilding mode, but for them being in rebuilding mode, they're still in the play-in, but I don't have them going anywhere this year. So
sure.
I think that's why I give them a C-. I wouldn't give them an F or a D based on they are just right about 500. So I think that's a fair grade. I think a C.
No, I like it.
It's just not,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go C, just straight C. But okay. I'm with you. Same reasoning. I didn't have a lot of expectations for this team. It's kind of doing what I thought it would, lingering around the play-in. But really, I don't think they'll make the play-in. I think that eventually they'll be in the because like the Warriors, for instance, aren't even in the play-in right now. They're not in the playoff hunt right now. Like I think the Warriors hopefully will get it together. But I think the thing that I struggle with the Jazz is I just don't know what they want to be. Are they a rebuilding team? Are they a team that wants to win now? They're kind of playing both sides right now, and that's always like scary to me. I feel like you should just pick whether you want to rebuild or you're growing something. But yeah, they're doing better than well, not better. They're doing kind of what I thought. So I'm with you. I'm giving a C to them.
Yeah. Lauri Markkanen though is I guess their rebuilding player that they're gonna build around, I guess. I don't know. So like I kind of agree with you as far as that goes is what do the Jazz want to be? Are they just gonna rebuild, or are they trying to be a contender? Or so I agree with you on that part, because it's like, Markkanen, is doing pretty good stat wise.
Right. And I like that Keontae George, is it? Yeah, Keontae George. I like him. Yeah, that they found. The one guy I'm surprised, like, because this is what I mean. So Taylor Hendricks is the guy that they picked number 9 in the draft this year. And he has started 0 games and only played 13. And it's just like, okay, so you're kind of, I think he's playing in the G League.
Okay.
possibly, but it's like, why wouldn't you just play him and develop him on an NBA court?
Well,
You
it's
know
the
what I'm
same thing
saying?
like with the Pistons that you said, like Jaden
I know.
Ivey and everybody else. Like, why
Yeah.
don't these coaches give these guys opportunities? And I think Gordon Hayward touched upon this on the Paul George
Mm,
podcast, where it's like, hey, the
right.
only way we're going to get better is if you throw us in there. And I think that's why Austin Reeves has been so good, right? Because Frank Vogel just threw him in the fire, just threw him in
Correct.
there, just hey,
Correct.
you got to figure
Yeah.
this out, So
Yeah.
that you gotta just have these guys play actual NBA games. Even if you guys are
Correct.
losing, they're young. They gotta learn.
Well, and this is what I mean. They're like the Pistons are 5 and whatever, right? So there's a
Right.
reason why they should be starting these young guys. So I could see like the struggle. The struggle is like, well, we're kind of in the playoffs right now. So do we play the guys that know how to play, or do we play the guys that need to learn how to play? You know what I'm saying? Because if you're playing guys that need to learn how to play, it's likely that you'll more likely that you'll lose games, right?
Sure.
So I kind of, and this is what I mean. Like that's where I'm like, I don't know what they are. What are they trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're trying to rebuild, they should be playing these young guys. And if they're trying to win, it's like, well, why don't you, I guess, go harder for a win and trade for somebody who can help you win now, sort of thing. Pair them with marketing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's where I struggle with the Jazz a little bit this season.
I agree.
Okay. Let's talk about the that's more Jazz talk than I thought we were going to do. Let's go. Okay. Blazers. Well, let's talk about the Trailblazers because that's always fun. Blazers are not doing that great. They're doing
No.
better than the Pistons right now. Let me just get my stats up here. They are right now
14-33.
Thank you. Yeah, my computer was taking a little bit of load. And they're 4-6 in their last 10. They are what? They're second to last in the Western Conference. So, what's your grade for the Blazers?
I'm gonna be that teacher, Ryan. Even though I know I'm moving on from Dame and I'm in a rebuilding mode, and Rob Williams got hurt for them earlier in the year. Like it's different from the Utah Jazz, right? Because we know what
Mhm.
Portland's doing. They're trying to get draft picks. They're trying to rebuild. They're trying to move on from the Dame era. It's a new era for Portland. Scoot Henderson's kind of been a disappointment.
Yeah.
But they're 6-20 on the road. They're 1-7 in the division. They're 6-26 in the Western Conference. So I'm gonna be that guy, even though I know what Portland's trying to do. I have to give them an F, man. I'm
Yeah.
that type of a teacher. There's no feeling sorry for you guys. You guys are playing like dog doo doo right now. So I gotta be real. I gotta keep it real, Ryan.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you keeping it real. So I am kind of with you, but I have sort of a different
You're the
so
nice
again,
teacher.
no, I'm an F. I'm an
Oh,
F as well.
oh,
Yeah,
Ryan.
yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm not a because so they're as bad as what I thought they would be going into the season. I didn't think they'd be that good, but the fact that you still have Malcolm Brogdon on your team, the fact that you're not making trades right now, and they might, and then the grade would obviously change, but also the development of Scoot Henderson should be their number one priority.
Right.
He's only started 15 games,
Oh my
right?
God.
So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, if you can trade Brogdon, you can trade Jeremy Grant if somebody's interested, even though you might have to pay, or sell them a little bit cheaper than what you'd like.
Right.
That's what I would do and get Scoot in the starting lineup. He needs the minutes, he needs the reps, he needs to grow. And I don't understand that. So that's
DeAndre
basically
Ayton too. Like DeAndre Ayton's like, not he's happy he's just got his money and he's like, oh, I'm good
I
now.
know. I
Like
know.
I'm a max,
So,
and he said that he's a max player.
I know.
Like that was wild. I was like, what is he talking about?
Right. Yeah. So I'm with you. I'm giving them an F as well. So, yeah. Yeah. It's because their goal should be to develop Scoot Henderson.
I like
Like,
Simons,
what are you
though,
doing?
for them.
I do like Simon. Well, him and Simons could be. Well, I like Simons as well. That's the other problem though. They got Simons, Brogdon, Shaden Sharp, and Scoot Henderson for 4 positions. So that's the other part of the problem is like they almost
Do you
have too
like
many
the
guards.
Rob Williams move for them? Like, do you think Rob Williams is just a trade thing for them, even though like he got injury problems? So do you think like Rob's not going to be as valuable moving forward? Do you move on for Rob, or do you just like keep him and just try and just move forward with him? Even though he got
I
injury prone, he's injury
Yeah,
prone, but
yeah. I would say for him, it depends what's offered for him.
okay.
Because he is a nice piece, but you also have he's gonna be I think because of his injury history,
Mm-hmm.
he will always be like like the second big coming off the bench. He's going to be a 20-minute the game guy who can affect the game for 20 minutes, but you don't want to play him too much because otherwise I think he'll get injured. So it just depends what's offered for him. I don't know if he's like going to be a cornerstone piece for the Blazers.
Sure.
So if he's not going to be a cornerstone piece, if you get enough for him, I would trade Rob Williams.
Yeah, me too.
But Scoot Henderson has to be their focus at this
Yes,
point, and I don't
gotta
think they've
be.
put a good enough focus on him. So I'm giving them an F. You can't start that guy for 15 games,
Right. What about
even if he fails.
what about Chauncey Billups being their coach? Do you think that he's the answer for them for coaching moving forward? Do you think Chauncey Billups is the right coach for Scoot Henderson to develop him?
I would, if I was a Blazers fan, I would be really upset with Chauncey Billups and the way he's handled Scoot Henderson. The same way I'm upset that Monty Williams handles Jaden Ivey.
Okay.
So it's like I don't know. I want to believe in Chauncey because I'm a Pistons fan and
Right.
I love
Because
Chauncey Billups.
I think I asked you this question before where I was like, okay, you hate Monty Williams. Do you think would you guys like if Chauncey Billups was your guys' head coach? Do you think that would change anything? But based on how he's handled Scoot, you think Chauncey would probably doing the same thing Monty Williams is doing for the Pistons, not trying to develop the young guys.
Yeah, and it's not that he's necessarily not trying to develop. He's not. I don't know if he's doing it the right. Like, I guess who am I? But like, I would say you got to start him, Scoot Henderson, more than 15 games. You just
Mm-hmm.
got to. He's got to be starting. He has to be out there. He has to learn to lead a team. He's got to go through the ups and downs on the basketball court.
Yep.
Where, and the same with Ivy. The difference between the two teams, though, is I feel like you can make a case that Simons and Brogdon should and Sharp even would get more minutes than Scoot. You can make that case. Where in Detroit, there's not a lot of argument to make that
Sure.
Ivy shouldn't be starting.
Right.
Like there's not people in the way. So it's a little different where I'd give Chauncey Billups a little pass on that. A little pass, but
Makes
you
sense.
got to develop Scoot. Yeah. Okay, man, you ready to move on to our next division?
Yes. It is the South. Or no, it's the Pacific.
It's the Pacific Division, and man, I think these grades are going to be all over the place. Thorpe says real quick, you're a Pistons fan? I am a Pistons fan. You're definitely a true fan. You know it. It's been a rough Thorpe, it's been a rough 4 years for well, I mean, a lot more than that, but definitely the last 4 years has been rough for Pistons fans. So but let's talk about the Clips. So the Clippers. So they made that big James Harden trade. It started off a little rocky, but they are back on track right now. They are the 4th seed in the Western Conference, and they are 30 and 15. They're 8 of the last 10 they've won. So what's your grade for the Clippers?
Yeah, give them an A.
Yeah.
They definitely turned things around. Clippers F. Oh my goodness.
Thorpe, come on, man.
Look at Thorpe, man. That ball.
King's F.
King's F. He's going to give everybody an F.
I know. He's like thinking back in the 90s. Oh, what were the Clippers? How good were the Clippers and Kings?
Right.
Sunspeed. We appreciate your thoughts, though, Thorpe. So yes, keep sending in your grades.
Keep blowing up the chat, man. No, I give the Clippers an A.
Me too.
Just based on how they seem to have figured it out, right? They have figured it out. They got along. I think the Russ situation, Russ taking a back seat and being coming off and being off the bench. I think that's what me personally, I think I talked to Luke about this. Me personally, I think that's what changed this, because if Russ and Harden didn't, if Russ didn't take a bench role and wanted to start as well, I don't think him and Harden would have worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Right.
don't think the Clippers are where they're at right now if Russ doesn't do that. So that's what I think was the start of the Clippers turnaround. But basically, Paul George, man, and the injuries, them being healthy, and we've always said this about the Clippers sphere. If the Clippers could just stay healthy, the Clippers can just have a great title run than anybody could in the NBA. So they got the talent, they got I think Ty Lue's a great coach. He's won a title before. He's coached LeBron. I know Ty Lue's capable of coaching Kawhi and Paul George and all these guys. In the beginning of the year, I felt bad because it felt like a lot of egos in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I was like, wow, Ty Lue got like his hands full, but Ty Lue's done a wonderful job, man. And
Yeah.
even though I think coaching's overrated, Ty Lue's done a very good job keeping all these guys together and bought in. So
Right.
I that's why I give the Clippers an A. And they're what in the conference? They're fourth.
Fourth right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're only 2 games behind the Timberwolves. So
Right.
who's to say the Clippers can't be the number one seed and have home court advantage? So they could. The Clippers could.
Yeah.
They beat the
Yeah.
Celtics. They looked really great against Boston. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with for all the reasons you said and more. I'm giving them the A+ because they got like a lot of people raked them through the mud, like just like destroyed them for trading for James Harden. Nobody thought it would work out. Ty Lue said, "Give me 10 games." Nobody wanted to give him more than 5. Like there was this thing, and then all of a sudden he figured out all the pieces. He understood what he needed to do. The other thing was they got another big in Daniel Tice, which was huge for them because they lost Plumlee for a while, and now they're without Zoo, but now they have 3 bigs, so now it works out. Um, and I just think the way they found a use for Powell, like Powell's 3-point percentage from the corner, I think Luke was telling me it was like somewhere, it was either high 50s or low 70s. I can't remember. He's just nailing every 3 in the corner right now. That was surprising to me how well Powell fits in with them because that was my big thing. I was like, I think they'll have to eventually trade him, but I don't think so anymore now. So I just think, like you said, Ty Lue has figured out the best use of this lineup, and Russell Westbrook comes off the bench and he'll have a good game.
right.
And if he doesn't have a good game, Ty Lue will be like, it's just not your game, man. And that's the way to handle Russell Westbrook at this point in his career. But like all their sacrifices, everything that they're doing, I'm giving them an A+ as well.
Okay.
Oh, I
Um,
mean, I'm giving them A+, not as well. You did not give them an A+. So
no, and the reasoning why I didn't give them an A+ is they're 11-11 on the road, which kind of concerns
mm,
me a little bit.
sure,
But you know, like I said, I give them an A based on how they turn things around, and I think I said
sure.
this in the beginning of the year when you like what you just said, Ryan. Everybody was running them off. All the Clippers are done. Why'd they trade for Harden? This and that. It's like you got to figure it out, man. You
Right.
guys got Westbrook, Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. Why are you guys complaining? You guys got 4
Yeah.
Hall of Famers on your roster. You guys better figure it out, and I'm glad they did. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Patience was needed, and that's what I was
Mm,
preaching to Luke. Just be patient, be patient, be patient. It's like when you add a piece like James Harden to a team, it's not gonna change. I mean, look at Siakam goes to the Pacers, and they're struggling a little bit to find their footing. But because it's when you add a piece like that
yeah, it's all new. I
on a
know.
team, it's gonna take a little time to develop chemistry. And Harden is not like a little piece either. He's a huge piece, right?
Right.
So, yeah, no,
Absolutely. And,
yeah,
and the NBA season is such a long season, right? So
correct,
like that's
right.
like why in like the first 10 games of the season I was like, why is everybody overreacting like this? Like I think we did a how concerned meter, I think, in one of our podcasts at the beginning
We
of the
did,
NBA
yep.
season.
Yeah.
And I think I
Yeah.
put it at like a 2.
Right.
Like I know how long the NBA season is. It's not that
Right.
big of a deal. The only concerning part that concerned me was James Harden saying that he was the system.
Yeah,
And I was
correct.
like, oh man, that's not going to fly well with Russ and Paul George and Kawhi and everything like that. So I was kind of like, oh man, I don't know how that's going to work. But I think, like I said, Russell Westbrook, man, got to give kudos
Yeah.
to him, bro. Because like he
Agreed.
really just took it and he just said, hey, I'll come off the bench for you guys. And I think that's what let James Harden be comfortable and to do what he had to do, So it just helped
Correct.
everybody.
Correct. Yep. Agreed. Agreed. Thorpe said he gave the Lakers a C, LeBron James an A plus 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 plus, and then the Warriors get a C. That's just to get his comments. Okay, let's do the Kings. Um, the Kings, I'm sorry, are let's see here. They're fifth in the Western Conference. They're 27 and 18. They've won the last four games. They're six out of the last 10. What are you giving the Kings for a grade?
I give them a B.
Mm-hmm.
They were the third seed last year. They're kind of playing how I would expect them to play. I had them in the playoffs this year. I know a lot of you guys in the beginning didn't even have the Kings in the playoff contention. I think some had them in the play in.
Play in, yeah,
Yeah. So they're where I expected them to be, but they're not too hot in their division or in their conference or on the road. I mean, I know it's all above 500 and they won their last four, but I a B is I think is a good grade for them because they're the fifth seed. They're right in the middle of everything. They're only 3 games behind the Clippers, 5 games behind the Timberwolves. So they're not too far away from the first seed to be, the number one seed. But I don't see the Kings being a number one seed by any means. So I think they're right where I expected them to be, like the third, fourth, fifth seed around there.
yeah, yeah. I had them. I think finishing the. Hey Avery, what's up?
What's up, bro?
What's up, Avery? We're just grading NBA teams by division right now. So if you have any thoughts on the teams on the screen, you could give us your grade. I think we have not gotten to your Grizzlies yet, but yeah, we're about to get there. For the Kings, for me, I'm with you. I give them a B minus. Everything you said, I had them, I think, finishing sixth in the conference. So they're right where I thought they'd be. The only reason why I'm giving them a B minus is because they're running out of players to trade for. And I think if they want to really compete this year, they got to make a move. So,
Well, who do you think they would trade? Or who do you think they need to go get? Do you think they go get like
well,
a Zach or something?
I was kind of hoping they would get like Siakam or
Oh,
Anunoby
okay.
and like one of those two guys. That's kind of the fit they need.
Okay.
Sort of like a big wing defender. But I just think that there's some, it's like they're missing a piece and they got to make a move to get that piece. And I don't know if there's anyone out there right now that I'd be like, yeah, that's the piece they need. So I'm thinking they might have missed their window to make a big trade like that I think that could really help their team compete with the upper teams of the Western Conference. But
Sure.
who knows? They could surprise me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love, you
Go
want to
ahead.
read Avery's comment?
Yeah, he said the Grizzlies get a G grade because they have a G League roster right now.
Beautiful grade. I love that one.
And G for Grizzly, right?
Yeah, and Grizzly. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Good, great, Amy. Okay, how about you ready to go to the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah.
Let's do the Suns. 27 and 20. They are 8 in their last 10. So they've been actually on a, they were down, I think, to the 8th seed. They're now up to the 6th seed. So they've been winning some games now. They seem to be getting it rolling. What's your grade for the Suns?
See, this is gonna be hard because I expected them to be like a top 3 seed this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're a 6 seed currently.
Right.
They weren't doing that well in the beginning. I was kind of skeptical about the Bradley Beal trade. You already know how I feel about Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Booker's been in and out with injuries. They don't have a real true facilitator with them trading Chris Paul. So this is even though like you just stated they're 8-2 in their last 10. I'm looking at their home and away records. 14-11 at home. That's not that great. 13-9 on the road. 5-7 in the division. 17-14 in the conference. I'm gonna have to say a C plus, Ryan. I
C
expected
plus.
better from the
Okay.
Suns. And I know they're 8-2 and they're somewhat figuring it out right now, but I don't know if I can trust this team in the playoffs. I think they're going to
Yeah.
get bounced out in the first round unless they have
Okay.
a higher
Okay.
seed, like a third or a fourth seed. Like if they stay like this, and I know it's still too early yet. They're only 6 games behind the Timberwolves, but um, I think you've touched based on this before, is they don't have a true facilitator, so I think that's going to hurt them, in the long run.
I agree. I have a B minus, so I'm just a
Okay,
little higher than you, but not much.
sure,
Same reasoning though. It's just
yeah,
so I had them obviously being a play-in contender because I told you that I didn't think they would, the regular season wouldn't be taken as seriously by that team.
sure,
Um, but they're doing a little better than I thought.
okay,
I'm going to give them a teeny bit of a pass because of the injuries, as long as they can stay healthy. But I'm with you that I don't know if they're a contender because I think not having a facilitator will eventually hurt them.
yeah,
Um, but I am impressed with how well they're playing right now. So because of that, I'm going to just bump them up to a minus instead
that's
of
fair.
like a C plus.
But
So
see, I think that's perfect because you predicted them not to be that good. I
right,
did.
correct,
So like that's
correct,
like
yeah,
why it's like, yeah, C plus. It's like it's hard, man. It's and they're 8-2 in their last 10, so they should be like, I probably should give them maybe a B minus, but like I just expected the Suns to be way better than what they are now,
no, and that,
So
that that goes to our expectation at the beginning of the year. This
right,
is part of
right.
my grading system. Is what did I expect? Now where are they? Type thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, Lakers. So the Lakers are in every trade rumor, but they're ninth in the Western Conference, 24-25. They are 5-5 in their last 10. What's
Mhm.
your grade for the LA Lakers?
Give them a C.
Yeah.
They're still in play-in. They're 17-8 at home, so they're a good home team. They played well against or in front of the LA faithful, the Lakers faithful, but they're a terrible road team, Ryan.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that touch base back on the tweet that we talked about earlier of LeBron's hourglass. Like, time's running out.
Yep.
They're not better than any of these teams that are ahead of them. They're not better than the Timberwolves. They're not better than the Nuggets. They're not better than the Thunder, Clippers, so on and so forth. I even think the Suns are obviously better than them if they were to match up in the playoffs. So they got to make a trade. They got to do something to fix that roster heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm gonna give them a D plus.
Oh,
Well, I had these guys as a contender at the beginning of the year with
really?
the roster the way they were. Yeah.
Huh.
Um, and they are definitely not that. So because of my expectations, they are falling short of. But I agree with you. Obviously, a trade or whatever they do can turn this thing around.
Sure.
But it's just like I'm. I never like, as much as I am not a huge fan of LeBron, I never count him out.
And
And
that's
it's just
yeah, and that's like why I have my grade at a C. It's like you can't count
yeah,
LeBron
yeah.
out, man. So that's a good point.
Yeah, yeah. So it would be worse if they didn't have LeBron on their team. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying? So
absolutely.
so I think I had them finishing in the top four. They're barely in the play-in right now. So I have them as a D plus just because I expected a little bit more from them. Um, and again, they kind of like retool their roster every single year, and I guess I like lack of chemistry seems to be hurting them as well. So D
Sure.
plus for the Lakers.
Yeah, I feel like the Lakers are kind of like the Heat right now. Um, in that aspect, like I don't
True.
I don't
Yeah.
think the Lakers. It doesn't matter where they finish as long as they're in, and they
Yeah.
just tweak the roster to LeBron's liking. I
Sure.
know it's gonna have to be about LeBron. Like LeBron always played GM in any team he's been in, so it's gonna
Sure.
have to
Yep.
be about what LeBron likes. And if LeBron likes the moves that Rob Pelinka makes, or Rob Pelinka and LeBron talk about, hey, who do you want? This, and that. The Lakers could finish eighth, being the plan like they did last year, and still make a good deep run.
Yeah.
But with the roster they have now, that's
It's
not
not
going to
happening.
happen. Right? That's
Right.
not going to happen. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't count LeBron out though.
Agreed. Agreed. Okay. Finally, the Warriors. The Warriors are not in the playoffs right now. They're at 20-24 right now. They
Mm.
have won four of their last 10. What's your grade for the Warriors?
A
so far
D.
this
I'll
season.
give the Warriors a D plus. I I still they have Curry. That's the main reason. They got Draymond Green back, so I feel like most of their struggles is because of Draymond Green's stupid antics, and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
hurt them,
Yeah.
during this from the beginning of the year to this where we're at now. So I feel like Draymond Green hurt them a lot. But you can just see a little bit from Clay too. Like Clay's not the same player. So I see that's where the Warriors aren't the same Warriors that we're accustomed to seeing. Um, but I just feel too, just like with the Lakers, they're just like a trade or two away from getting back to turning things around. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel as though if the Warriors can get into the play-in, they're going to be a dangerous team you don't want to face right away in the first round. So I'm not counting out Curry or Steve Kerr, that Warriors team yet, but it's a D plus because based on the record, based on how they've been playing. But they did beat the Sixers last night, and they also beat the Celtics too this year. When they play, um, contenders, you see the Warriors,
Mm-hmm.
they play you tough,
Yeah.
So that's another thing too, where it's like, I'm not trying to count out Steph Curry just yet, but based on right now, it's a D plus. But I think they're just a trade or two away from turning things around.
I like agree with that. I'm still going to be a little harsher on them again because of my expectations.
Patience, sure.
Yeah, I had them as a contender this year. Like I thought there was like four teams. I think they were one of them. I'm giving them a D minus. Curry's the only reason why this team is an F right now, the way he's playing.
Hmm.
Wiggins has been disappointing.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr, you know, like he's in almost a hard situation where he has these veterans who he's won with who aren't performing like they used to with these young guys that he needs to grow right now, and it's just hard for him. But I don't know if he's like I don't want to be in that situation. I wouldn't want to be in that situation, but I don't know if he's necessarily doing a good job with it because of yanking one day he yanked Moody out who is having a really good game for Klay Thompson who wasn't right like and I know that's hard. That's hard, but like that's why they haven't been good is there's loyalty to the players that aren't playing to the level that they normally play at versus these young guys that you have to grow. And
Right.
I don't know if he's doing a good job of balancing that, but I'm not saying I would do better. I'm not saying that. I want to be very
Sure.
clear. I'm just saying it's kind of his job to do it. I don't know if he's doing a good job of it. So just because of my expectations where the Warriors are at, I think you're right. They can make a trade or two that could help them contend this year, but they have to do it quickly because they're not only are they running out of time trade deadline, but they also have to develop the chemistry with the new guys that they bring in, and they're running
Correct.
out of time to do that. So I'm
Correct.
going to give them a D minus.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little harsher than I would have thought you would have went. Because I feel like you're a very reasonable and understandable guy, Ryan. I feel like you give how do you say the word leniency?
Leniency, yeah,
Leniency.
leniency, yeah.
That's I feel like that's just your character, Ryan. Like you're a very lenient guy.
Oh,
So, but
came in on
man, you
fire
came in
today.
on
Yeah.
fire, man. What was in that coffee this morning?
I told you
Gosh.
I'm feeling like a Star Wars, maybe like Darth Vader today. Like I like my Star Wars coffee cup, Darth Vader on it. My shirt has Darth Vader on it.
Oh
I'm on a
gosh.
roll right now.
I
Yeah.
see it, man. I see
Yeah.
it. Wow. I thought I was the harsh one.
Well, I think
Man.
you were the last time we
I
graded. Now
was.
I'm
I was.
yeah.
I
Well,
was.
maybe you became a little kinder. You ever think of that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
maybe.
so.
Okay, okay. Let's do our last division. Let's do the Southwest Division. Um, So we'll start with the Mavericks. The Mavericks are seventh in the West. They are 26 and 21. They are 4-6 in their last 10. What's the grade you're giving the Mavericks, Isaac?
Giving them a B plus.
Yeah,
Just based on how Luka's been playing. I know Kyrie's been in and out,
right.
based on injury. But I had the Mavericks as a 6 seed, so they're where I want them. They're oh, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even change the division yet. But yeah, so I had the Mavericks as a 6, 7 seed, so they're where I expected them to be to start the year, because they didn't make the playoffs last year. So I
Mhm.
was really concerned, when they re-signed, or not concerned, but I was really just questioning most of you guys' analysis on the Mavericks, saying, "Oh, the Mavericks ain't even gonna be in the playoffs." Because I remember when we were predicting, and nobody had the Mavericks even in the play-in.
Mhm.
So I was like, wow, I was very concerned about that, because I was like, man, don't count out the Mavericks. Luka's playing like a dog this year, and I feel like when Kyrie gets back into the rhythm again, I feel like the Mavericks probably, possibly, if he didn't get hurt, could probably be higher seed than where they're at now.
Yeah.
So I just feel like the Mavericks have turned it around from what they've done last year. So that's very pretty. That's very impressive.
Yeah, no, and the fact that Kyrie's only played 27 games, I think we have to
Right.
keep that in mind as well. So I
True.
went with a B plus as well. I think I had them finishing in the play-in, um, but
Yeah.
and it's because of like what you said, it's Luka. It's Luka. Luka will find a way to win 42 games, and he
Hmm.
has kept that pace. So I'm with you. I'm going to give them a B plus. I'm interested to see if they make a trade because they could use a wing defender, but I think B plus is the right grade for the Mavericks.
Yep.
Pelicans. The Pelicans are, let's see here. I gotta get my thing back up. I just wanted to see how many games Kyrie played, so I had to exit out of where I was real quick. So the Pelicans, I believe they are eighth in the conference. They are
Yep.
26 and 21. So they're tied with the
Same with the
Mavericks. So,
Mavericks,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and
So,
they're 4-6, but they're on a 3-game losing streak.
mm,
Um, Zion has been relatively healthy this year. So what are you giving the Pelicans?
yeah, I'll give them a B.
Hmm. That's funny. I got
They,
to be too.
yeah, I'll give them a B based on, like what you just said. You just hit the key point in this whole situation with the Pelicans. Can Zion be on the court? That was always the Pelicans' problem, like Zion could never be healthy. Zion could never, and then the questioning about, I think last year was very concerning for with a lot of with a lot of commentators and critics, stating that, man, Zion doesn't seem like he even wants to be there, even wants to play.
Hmm.
So like last year, I think it was like a minor injury, but he just decided to just sit out. I forgot what interview that was in, but a lot of people took that as like him being lazy to some
Yep.
degree. So it's great to see Zion on the court and actually play, because as you can see, this is, the Pelicans can be in the talk of being a contender. If Zion can just stay healthy, I truly believe Zion could be that type of a player. He hasn't, based on injury and based on, maybe his health, I should say, as far as him being in shape. But
Yeah.
yeah, the Pelicans are turning it around for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with like the fact we give a B as well. Zion has played 38 of the possible 47 games. I think that's an upgrade, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously they started off the season. I thought I remember them starting off the season pretty hot, and then they kind of cooled off a little bit. So that's part
Mm-hmm.
of the reason why I put them at a B. I'm with you. I think that this team can. I don't know if I'd say they're contenders, but I would say that this team can upset someone in the first round if the right
They
matchup presents
right.
itself.
They could, yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna give them a B. Yeah.
Yeah, but another thing why I put them at a B too is that, I mean, they got the same record as the Mavericks. So if we got the
Yeah.
Mavericks at a B plus, I mean, the Pelicans got to be somewhat in that same,
Correct.
talk as
Agreed.
well. It'd be
Agreed.
blasphemous if we have the Mavericks at a B plus and then any lowered the Pelicans to like a C plus. That wouldn't make sense. So
Correct.
we got to be consistent with that as well. But the difference between the Mavericks and the Pelicans is their division record. The
Mhm.
Mavericks got a better division record, but in their last, it says in their conference they're tied though. So
Yeah.
it's still the same thing, but also they're on that 3-game losing streak, as you pointed out too, Ryan.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we'll see what they do. And like they could make a trade too. Who knows? They got a bunch of picks and everything else. So,
absolutely.
let's talk about the Rockets. The Rockets are 22 and 24. They are 4-6 in their last 10.
Hmm.
They are outside of the play-in right now. What's your grade for the Rockets?
I'll give him a D plus.
B plus?
Yeah. No, a D.
D plus.
Yeah, D plus. Yeah. Um, they're great at home, but they're terrible on the road. They're 5-16 on the road, but they're 17-8 at home. Um, but they're 4-6 in their last 10. So I didn't really have too much expectation with the Rockets this year. I
Hmm.
feel like they're in a rebuilding mode, but I did like the Dylan Brooks acquisition and the Ime Udoka coaching acquisition that they added. So um, I like those moves for the Rockets moving forward. I feel like the Rockets will eventually be, in the mix as well. But I just think the first year with all this is, expected where they're at right now, 22 and 24. They're a below 500 team. I don't really have that much expectation for them moving forward this year. I mean, they did beat the
Hmm.
Lakers. They whopped them the other night. So, they can make a move or so heading forward in the future, but this year there's not that much expectation for them, so that's why I got them at a D plus.
Yeah, I actually am. So this is where my leniency is coming. I'm going to give them B minus.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I thought they would be one of the worst teams in the NBA. The fact that they're competing,
Mm-hmm.
they brought in Dylan Brooks, and Dylan Brooks, remember last year, nobody wanted Dylan Brooks in the
Right,
offseason. All of a sudden, they
exactly,
get
yeah,
him,
no, I
and
like
he's
Dylan
playing
Brooks.
pretty good. He's
Yeah.
playing pretty good. Fred VanVleet, it looks like Udoka was the right hire for that team. I really like the way that team competes.
Mm-hmm.
I like the toughness of that team. I just want to give them credit
Okay.
because I get like they're probably not going to make the playoffs this year, but man, are they building something? And I just really
Right.
like what they're building. I like that they're right outside the plan. I like that they compete every day. I like that they could go into a night and blow out the Lakers. I like that in the toughness that Udoka has brought in there. So I'm going to give them a B minus because this is way better than I thought that they were going to be this season. And that
Okay.
Dylan Brooks signing, which everybody kind of made fun of, including myself. Um,
They're also
it,
7-2 in their division too, Ryan.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
wanted to point
I
that
mean,
out as well. That's
yeah,
out there.
yeah. So I'm going to give them a little higher of a grade. I'm going to give them a B minus. I really like what they're doing.
That is very lenient of you.
I know.
I mean, I think maybe a C, because I mean they are below 500 yet, and they're 4-6 in their last 10. But I get what you're saying as far as where you expected them to start.
Yeah,
You thought they would
right,
be the worst team in the league.
right.
So I guess that outweighs that. But
And I made fun of the Dylan Brooks sign. I was one of those guys like, haha, yeah, right. And he turned out to be like a good signing, like a really good signing for them.
oh
So it's
yeah,
like I'm
I don't know
going to
why the
take the L
Grizzlies
on
got.
that.
I don't know why the Grizzlies got rid of him.
Well, yeah, I think the Grizzlies, he was kind of like thinking he was the number one guy there, and it was Morant's team, and it's just I think that's why they had to get rid of him. He was
I just
kind
felt
of,
like Dylan Brooks brought that swagger to the Grizzlies, though. That
yeah,
I
the
felt
edge,
like that,
yeah,
like the culture aspect of it. I felt like Dylan Brooks was like the culture setter there for the Grizzlies. I know it's Morant's team and everything, but Dylan Brooks brought that like bad boy Piston vibe to the Grizzlies,
sure,
which I
sure,
liked. I loved
right,
it. You
right.
want that. Everybody's so buddy buddy in the NBA, and I
I
like
know,
that
I know.
Dylan Brooks is trying to change that up. Like, okay, it's LeBron
Yeah,
James. Okay, I'm not fanboying LeBron. I'm not fanboying all these
correct.
other guys because I'm here too. I'm making I'm not making the type of money these star athletes are playing, but I'm in the NBA too. So
Yeah.
it's like I got to give credit where credit's due. I don't know why people hate on Dylan Brooks so much, man. He's a dog.
Yeah, I think I guess maybe Avery would have because obviously he follows the Grizzlies more than I do, but like I guess my understanding is just he just wanted to be the number one guy on the Grizzlies. Like, it's just he's the same he's just a little bit older than Morant, not but he wanted to be that number one guy and the Grizzlies didn't want him to act like that. He wanted him to defer to Morant. There's games he would shoot 21 times, like and it's like, well, we have Desmond Bane and Morant that should be shooting the ball, not you, Dylan, as much as we love you, but
Sure.
anywho, could be. I'm just speculating. Let's go to the Grizzlies. What's your grade for the Grizzlies? The Grizzlies are 18-29, 4 of their last 6. What do you give the
Well,
um
based on the John Morant suspension, based on
the
John
injury?
Morant getting injured now for the rest of the year, they're 18-29. They're 5-16 at home. I mean, it's just a rough. This was just a rough year for the
Adams
Grizzlies.
being injured,
Adams being injured. This was a tough
Marcus Smart
year. Yes,
missing a lot of
I feel so
time.
bad for Smart, man. I feel so bad
Yeah.
for him. I hope that if that's what you would say, that I would really love to look forward to. If the Celtics could do a trade, would try to get Marcus Smart back. I know that would never happen.
Probably, yeah, never happened.
But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like that'd be awesome if that happened. Because like the Grizzlies are, not doing well. So, but yeah, I mean, I gotta give them a D.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be harsh and give them an F based on the circumstances that the Grizzlies had gotten or that were given to them to start the year. So, that was already tough in itself. But if John Morant stayed healthy, man, the Grizzlies were looking like they were on a mission, to get back into the playoffs. So, but it's a D for me just based on, everything that's happened. 18-29. I mean, we gotta look at, reality.
Yeah. Do you want to read Avery's comments there?
Oh, I didn't even see it. It hasn't even popped up on the thing. He said,
Talking about the Grizzlies.
yeah, I gotta move the thing because it's not popping up on my
Oh, I can read it then.
Yeah.
It says overall season is disappointing, frustrating with all the injuries, is what he said. And then we had 7 healthy guys on our roster. I think it said last week.
Yep.
NBA minimum is 8. Yeah. Yeah. So you know how I expelled the Pistons from the
Yep.
NBA?
Mhm.
That's the grade I gave them. I'm gonna give the Grizzlies an incomplete. Is that fair?
Is that a grade?
It's just saying like I can't like it back in school if you got an incomplete, it's basically like it means like there's more work to be done type thing. It's like I can't grade you because you haven't like there's not enough information almost like an incomplete. There's more stuff you got to turn in, more assignment. I'm giving it incomplete in this sense. This team had a bad year with all the injuries. I can't blame them for the injuries. The suspension, I can't blame them for. I can't blame them for when Ja got back, he got injured. Adams got injured before the year. Clark's out. Marcus Smart in and out the lineup. And like Avery said, they're playing a bunch of G League guys. So I don't know if I can fairly grade them with everything they're going through. Somehow, with all that, Isaac, they still managed to win 18 games. Don't you think they would be the team that only won 5 games if I told you that Morant would miss 25 games, get injured after like 10 games or less, no Adams, Smart in and out of the lineup? Like, wouldn't you say, yeah, that team probably only won 5 games?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, but
so,
that's just the cards that are dealt, unfortunately.
I know.
Like
I know.
you can't be hard on one team and then lenient with another. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just
right. And they won 18 games though, right?
Yeah,
like despite that,
they won 18 games, but it's crazy how they're better on the road than they are at home.
Right.
Like that's mind boggling too. But I get what you're trying to say. It's just like I can't give Portland a losing Damian Lillard and everything, and they're in a rebuild mode, and you know what I'm saying? Like I could have gave them an incomplete, losing Rob Williams, and I mean injuries happen, unfortunately, so it's like,
yeah, I guess the difference is it's like your main guys get injured, and like what's Portland's goal in the season, right? Portland's goal should be to develop Scoot Henderson. They're not doing that, right? So it's like, I guess it's a little different where it's like, for me, I almost, if I would give Grizzlies an actual grade because they won 18 games despite everything they've been through, they've won more games than the Spurs, the Pistons, the Wizards, and all those guys are not dealing with what the Grizzlies are dealing with. So if I was
Sure.
giving them a grade, I'd probably give them closer to a passing grade with everything they're dealing with. But I don't feel comfortable doing that either because it's like, why would I give them a good grade? Like you said before, when you're looking at Portland and stuff, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm giving them an incomplete. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm expelled the Pistons. I am giving an incomplete to the Grizzlies.
Gotcha.
uh Avery said we have a lot of young talent like Williams and Gigi Jackson. I agree. I like both those guys when they're healthy next year. Look out. Yeah, I think you're right. But they gotta get healthy and they gotta stay healthy.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
just the thing, it's like like with the Clippers being injured every year, was that an incomplete for them every year? Were people giving them a free pass? I mean, it's just, I understand it. It sucks, but like injuries, that's what comes with the game, I would say as far as like the suspension goes was unfair, like that was terrible, but I mean, the Grizzlies would have had a bad year no matter what if John Morant would have got hurt in any position, even if John Morant didn't get hurt right now, and he was still playing, but he gets hurt in like March or something. That's throwing the whole Grizzlies out the thing because the Grizzlies are just pretty much what I'm trying to say is the Grizzlies are too John Morant needed. You know what I'm saying? Like without John Morant, this team is nothing.
It's not well, if it was just John Morant, I would agree. Like I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But it's Stevens Adams, Brandon Clark, John Morant. It's Marcus Smart only playing
you believe
24 games.
So you believe if Steven Adams, so if it was just John Morant injured, do you think the Grizzlies would be contenders?
I think they'd be a better team. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they won 18 games without Steven Adams and Brandon Clark, so you just add those and Marcus Smart playing all the games. So if you just add those three components into it and them also being suspended for 25 games, like John Morant being suspended for 25 games.
Well, if John Morant,
so yeah.
No, I'm saying if John Morant didn't have the suspension, they were playing, even if they had a better record than what they have now, they're like 40 and something. I'm saying like in March, John Morant goes down. If you're a Grizzlies fan like Avery, you're like, oh, this season's over. We're not winning no title. We're not going anywhere.
Right. John Morant's that big.
Like,
but I think they win more games still, though, like than they are right now. And they've already won 18. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only one guy on our roster has played 16 games or less on a G League roster. Triple J. Triple J. Oh, that's funny. Everyone else came up from the G League this year. Oh man, one healthy guy.
Where is Derrick Rose?
Is
Derrick
in.
Rose even playing?
No, I think he is not. He said here is our injury list: John Morant, Steven Adams, Desmond Bane, Brandon Clark, Luke Kennard. Yeah, he got injured too for a while.
Hurt, yeah.
Derrick Rose injured. Marcus Smart. And then it says Derrick Rose again? Or am I not?
Derrick Rose is always, it says he got his hamstring,
Yeah, plus 3 role players also were injured. Aldama was injured for a while. Yeah, I remember that.
Look, I'll tell you what, if it was 2011 Derrick Rose, you guys wouldn't need John Morant.
That's true. You're not wrong about that.
Like, man, it's just... Man.
Yeah. Sorry, Avery. Rough season. I mean, your Bills and sports has not been kind to my man there. So
yeah, it's tough.
Okay, let's do the Spurs. Let's see. What's your grade for the Spurs? They are 10-37. There's 3 they've only won 3 games in their last 10.
Yeah.
They are the worst team in the Western Conference. What's your grade for them?
Yeah, enough. They're the worst team in the conference, so I mean, it's got to get an F. I mean, we know they're rebuilding. This is Wemby's first year, as a rookie. I mean, you're gonna struggle your rookie year. Right. You know that,
right.
But to be fair, Wemby has been playing like how we all expected him to be. He's definitely not a bust. Wemby's here to stay for the long run. He's gonna be the face of the league one of these days. So, that's hope for Spurs fans. I don't know if Popovich is going to be the answer. I mean, he's old. I mean, maybe move on from Pop. I'm not saying like anytime soon, but I'm just saying like, how many years does Popovich have, left in him? And that's probably like it's kind of like the Bill Belichick thing in New England. You just let Popovich go when he wants to go, correct? I don't think you just get rid of him, but I say like Popovich is going to really get Wemby to be like a Hall of Fame type of a player, just like he did with Duncan or with David Robinson and Tim Duncan and all that. So Wemby's going to be a Hall of Famer for sure. But that's what I was saying. Like, how many years does Popovich have left, where it's like, what do you do? I think maybe Pop got like 4 years, maybe 3 max, so like he's not going to be obviously coaching Wembanyama his whole career like he's done
Correct.
Tim Duncan, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of concerns me as well moving forward, but yeah.
I'm with you. I got an F for them too. And plus, like, I understand like they were trying different things with Sohan as their point guard for a little bit, but making decisions like that. And again, Greg Popovich will know more things about basketball. He'll forget things about basketball, more about basketball than I'll ever know about basketball. But like, I just think you can stunt a growth of a young player if you're not putting him in the best position to succeed. And I didn't think doing that at the beginning of the year really was beneficial for Wembanyama, having somebody who's not traditionally a point guard, kind of playing that role. So they've changed things up since then, but still, I just got to give an F because again, if I'm going to give the Blazers an F for not focusing on Henderson, I got to do the same for the Spurs, not focusing on Wembanyama and his growth. So
Sure.
I have an F as well.
Okay.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's the podcast.
Hours.
We almost. I know. That was a fun podcast.
I thought we were at like an hour and like 3 minutes. Wow, it went to like it went to 2 hours. I was not expecting that. I thought it was like at like the hour 20 mark.
Yeah.
We've been digging deep. Today was a good pod, man. This is great.
Yeah. This was great. Anything else about ball before we go?
I think we touched base on everything. Is there any? Let me just check Twitter real quick. See if anybody like Avery or Thorpe or Ivan, if they're still in here, if they got anything to.
Avery said, "Time to grade your podcast."
I give it an A.
I'll do a solid B plus.
B plus, really?
No, I'm just kidding. It was a great podcast.
Yeah,
You're like,
great.
really?
I was like, really?
Don't take what I say. Yeah, it was a good podcast. This was a lot of fun. It would have been nice if like a trade broke out right in the middle of the podcast, but watch, we'll stop. We'll stop the pod.
I hope that happens one time. Like it's gotta happen one time.
Yeah. No, you're right. Okay, man. Well, this was a lot of fun.
It was.
Thank you, Thorpe, Avery, Ivan, and everybody else who joined us on our live. If you're listening to this after, if you want to join us on our live podcast and be part of the conversation discussion, just check us out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and we're going to start doing one on Fridays. We were going to start this Friday, but it might not happen, and we'll see what happens moving forward. But our goal is to do it 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. If you haven't yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Boxscore Sports. Subscribe to our Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to my man Isaac on Soury Lemon on Twitch and YouTube and Twitter as well. Anything else, Isaac?
No, that should be it, man. Thanks everybody for commenting and engaging. We love your guys' feedback. And again, what Ryan said, follow the socials, leave a like, comment on the YouTube channel. We're going to be dropping some highlights this week. And like what Ryan said, we're going to try and do it 3 times a week. I think that would be good. And maybe it should be around this time, you think, Ryan? Like around 11 a.m.?
Yeah, that'll be our goal.
Yeah, I think that'll
be our goal.
But just appreciate everybody supporting and engaging. It makes the podcast fun, and it gives us like different. We want to hear everybody else's thoughts and opinions too, because everybody's opinion could be different from ours. So hearing different opinions is very good. It helps us learn new things too. So because I don't know everything, but um, it's great. It's great to get feedback from you guys.
Yeah, I agree with all that. So thank you all for listening. We really hope you enjoyed, and we will talk to you all soon.
Bye, guys.